the HomeTech Podcast for Friday, November 17th. From Sarasota, Florida, I'm Seth Johnson.
From Reynoldsburg, Ohio, I'm TJ Huddleston.
And from Pickering, Ontario, I'm Gavin Campbell.
And welcome to the HomeTech Podcast, a podcast all about home automation, home technology, TJ dropping his camera.
Yeah, just throw it around.
Wow, it's a bit distracting. Anyway, all sorts of technology that we talk about each week. And I guess one of the biggest things, we're a podcast, so we got to talk about this thing because every podcast, they've talked about it. So I guess we have to throw in our opinion on it. But what do you guys think about this humane AI pen, lapel pin thing, I guess? I don't know what to call this. It's a little device. It's a wearable smartphone with no screen. Costs $699, $700. Is that right? And then $24 a month for basically a T-Mobile network subscription. Magnetically clips to your clothes, has all sorts of little features and an AI thing.
And it also, it has no screen, but it will project information, I think, onto your hand if you hold your hand out. So that was kind of cool. I wouldn't buy one of these. I wouldn't see a need for it because my phone does pretty much everything it does, I guess, and more. But one thing I really appreciate it is that somebody's thinking different. Somebody came out with something new and, different. And I'd like to see where this goes from here.
Yeah, it is pretty cool because it is a unique device. I mean, we've had wearables in the past. People wear smartwatches all the time. We've had smart glasses and other wearable smart electronics, but I don't think I've ever seen anything like this. And so that makes it pretty unique. And I think it's a really good business idea for them to basically sell you the cell service as well, because they're going to get the money for the hardware immediately. And then each month they're getting that $24 to be the middleman between you and this device working. And so I think there's a lot of potential there for them to make money. I don't know. I'm just not interested in this specific device right now.
It's an interesting form factor, and it has a camera built into it as well. It's got two batteries that you can swap out throughout the day. Just kind of says something about how it's going to work. But I'm with you, Gavin. I think it's cool. These kind of devices, it's always good if somebody kind of starts out trying to do something.
Yeah.
Although I agree with you. I don't think what they're trying to do is replace a smartphone. I don't think that's going to work very well for them because the smartphones just have such a leg up and they're already so cheap. And this thing is $800, $700 plus another cell phone subscription. I already have that. And I have a screen.
Exactly. And the magnet part makes me nervous. I mean, I can't even stop my Poppy from getting, lost. And that's pinned into my jacket. This is just a magnet. I'd be so nervous of an $800 device sitting there, I don't know. But it was cool because it also had a camera built in, so you could take pictures, But if I saw someone wearing something like this, and that's where you'll be in a change room and someone will have it on, you got to worry about stuff like that. There's a lot of privacy too,
Yeah, and it purposely doesn't have a wake word as well, as far as I know, because they don't want it. They want to focus a little bit on privacy, which I think is kind of nice. My thing is the looks of it, right? If I saw this out in public, kind of like the Google glasses, if I saw people walking around with those, I would think it's weird because it's just, I don't know, it just feels weird with it always looking at you all the time. But if they were able to shrink this down a little bit in size and maybe put the computer actually behind where the battery is going to go, because basically how it works is it's got a battery that magnetizes to the front part of it or the computer and everything through your clothing. And that's what helps with the battery life. If they were able to shrink the computer down and make the front part of it where it's actually exposed to everybody smaller, I think it'd be a lot less obvious and it wouldn't look so weird. But I don't know. This looked kind of weird to me.
Yeah, all this technology and all this stuff is coming, but it's not here today. Mm-hmm. We haven't shrunk everything down that small. And the sensors are still there. The battery technology is not there. But it's interesting. I'll give them that. They've done an interesting job. They're doing a lot of work, though. They made their own operating system. They're not even trying to. That's a lot of work.
Yeah. If you buy one,
best of luck to you guys.
If one of our listeners buy one, let us know how it works.
And if you need to raise a little bit extra money because you went out and bought one of these things, Nabu Casa is hiring, so you can get an extra job there. They're hiring 3 positions, actually. This is the company that is adjacent, I guess, is the best way to describe it, to Home Assistant. And it's basically the paid version of Home Assistant that gets you the, remote connection, that kind of thing, without having to do port forwarding or any fun stuff like that. They're hiring a community and social media manager, a marketing copywriter, and a marketing designer. So it looks like they're trying to do a lot of marketing work, and that's good for them. I think they should. They should get out there and plug the name away and get more people interested and signed up. Because right now it's kind of a nerdy project that me, Gavin, and TJ use. But it's definitely not a product for the masses. So the more direction they can go in that direction, the more movement they can get in that direction, the better.
It's good to see them expanding, growing. It means they're doing something well. And I guess they also just want to control the message, because right now they have a lot of free advertising between all the blogs and all the YouTubers and everything. They cover them for free. So I was kind of shocked that they actually have to hire somebody, but it makes sense when you want to control the message, or, you want somebody to interface with all these people covering your product. This is a good role.
It's a lot of work though. Like
yes.
I mean, you've got just a couple of people working on it, and they may be working on the code. It's like, I can tell you when I'm working on code, the last thing I want to do is write a press release, but I have to sometimes. So, it reminds me, I have someone to do this week. That'll be a good job for somebody to have, and a community manager. I mean, that they have such a large community. I can't imagine like interacting, and that's a full-time job in and of itself. So good luck to whoever gets that position. And, tell us how you like your AI pin thing.
Well, maybe they can unban me from the Home Assistant Facebook group too. That'd be nice. New social media manager person.
Yes. If any one of our listeners gets hired, please unban TJ for asking the simple question, what are you guys going to do about this spam?
So much spam. Oh my gosh. But no, the Casa Cloud thing is totally worth it, though, because it does give you remote access, and it makes Home Assistant work with Google Assistant and Amazon Alexa without setting it all up yourself. So I think it's a must, and it's only $5 a month.
That's the key. It's so cheap that it's so worth it, and it solves a number of problems. Keep in mind, though, like if you wanted, you don't have to buy it, right? You could do all that stuff without it, but it's just, this makes it so much easier and things work so much better.
Well, check that out. We'll put a link to the Fostodon, which is another Mastodon instance out there. Home Assistant at Fostodon posted that, and make sure you reply that you've hashtag unban TJ.
Unban me. All
right. We got a couple of home tech headlines this week. Yeah, a number of things, a couple of new products, and a couple of leaks, a couple of interesting things that have come out, and some teasers from a big company that starts with an S and ends with an S. So what do you say we get started?
Let's do it.
Well, first thing, we kind of teased this at the post show last week. We kind of forgot to talk about this, but there was a post on LinkedIn where Mitch Klein, who is the director of Alliance Strategies over at Silicon Labs, basically a big Z-Wave person forever, had posted that he was no longer with the Z-Wave Alliance. I'd be working there. I guess he and a bunch of other people getting laid off. Let's see. News of layoffs of the company's Q3 results were released, which exceeded expectations. Klein, who has been a major proponent of home connectivity standards, has been in the industry for around 30 years and received recognition for his contributions to the industry, including the CDA Lifetime Achievement Award in 2019. So Mitch has been around forever. I think we've had him on the show a couple times in the past, and he's great to talk to. Big proponent of the entire industry, no matter DIY, CDA, whatever. Like he's been involved forever. So sad to see him there. I have no doubt he will land on his feet, square on his feet somewhere, because he's pretty good at what he does. But it's weird. Like they posted some. It looks like they're going to do some like rethinking over there at Silicon Labs and how they're going to go to market with a lot of this stuff. And they laid off a bunch of people. Sounds like
Z-Wave is dying, guys. We've talked about this before.
Z-Wave is not dead.
Is it death to Z-Wave or from Z-Wave or of D-Wave? I don't know. Like it could be either one of those. So
yeah, Mitch goes way back though. I mean, he's been in the industry for basically as long as I've been alive. So if you want to feel old, listen to the podcast. You can just envision that.
2019. Wow, TJ. Okay.
Wow. in the entire industry. Come on, Seth.
I don't think Z-Wave's going to die. I think they're going to find a use for it. I have a feeling it may go into the industrial space or something like that, right? But I don't think it's going to disappear. It's a good protocol, Matter is going to take over the DIY space eventually. And until it does, Z-Wave and Zigbee are just going to be riding along.
Yeah, I can see Z-Wave going to, commercial just because, especially with the long range that they just released. What is it, 1.5 miles or a mile of distance altogether? I mean, that's crazy good in a warehouse and stuff like that, where you might not be able to install repeaters everywhere, or you just need the far range for it. But I just think in general, consumers, once Matter actually comes out and it starts, mattering, that consumers are not going to care about Z-Wave anymore. Nerds like us are going to care about it, and that's the only people that care about it at the moment. But I think it's going to dwindle even more unless they find a specialized case for it, which I have no doubt they can.
Yep, like you said, it's good technology, and it can be built into smart meters and water meters and all that good stuff.
Yeah, it's reliable. I mean, I don't have any problems with my stuff, and I don't know. It's a lot better than it was when I started in the industry, and I only started in the industry like 10 years ago, so... Back then, you couldn't even install a door lock at the end of a hallway, right next to the hub. You had to have a repeater in the middle of it. And now you can run a lot of stuff without any problems most of the time. So
yeah, that was my experience with Z-Wave too. So it's gotten much better.
So awful. It's like, I got to actually install the smart outlet because we need a repeater. And it's like, it's right there. I can see it.
It can see you, hub. Come on. Yeah. All right. Well, let's move on here. We got a pretty interesting story here, and that TJ may be happy to hear about. Sonos has seen a decline in demand over the past few years. However, CEO Patrick Spence announced the company has major new product in the works for 2024. While the details are limited, Spence mentioned that the product will enter a new multi-billion-dollar category and generate over $100 million in revenue for the company. Some are speculating, and I say some as in like TJ, and I don't know. They mentioned over here on The Verge.
Yeah, hey, this Verge article, geez. Everybody wants it.
They wanted to be the Sonos headphones or a new speaker with some kind of innovative technologies from a startup they acquired called Mate. I don't know what that is. Sonos aims to take a strong comeback with this new product and rein in its market share. It had a revenue decrease of 5.5% over last year, and they're hoping to release this new product in the second half of 2024. So we don't have very long to wait, TJ. Sonos headphones, here they come.
Bring them out. I see this going two ways. I see them releasing a really expensive version, and by expensive, I mean I hope it's like at most like $400, but at Sonos it'll probably be like $450. But one expensive version that works with Sonos, and basically you can group it with other speakers in the house, and just like any other Sonos speaker, and control the volume and all that stuff, and it has Bluetooth in it. And then I see a slimmed down version where it only works with Sonos, like inside your house, and it's like half the cost. Kind of like the Arc, Beam, and Ray concept. Because there's going to be certain people that just want TV headphones. But then there's all, like, personally though, if I'm going to buy headphones, I want them to be able to work with my phone via Bluetooth or some other way, where I don't need to like be at my house on the Wi-Fi in order to use them. They seem kind of useless if that's the case.
All right. I'm already starting a new note here for our discussion board called Friendly Wagers, Sonos headphones. So will the headphones be the 2024 Q2 major product release that Sonos is mentioning here, that is going to bring $100 million of revenue into the company? Or will it be something else like, I don't know, outdoor audio?
It's going to be something stupid like a CD player.
CD player, record player.
Oh, record player. There you go. They're like, well, we've been partnered with all these companies. Why don't we just make our own record player?
I'll put my money on the Sonos remote.
Oh, Gavin's going with Sonos remote.
Wow.
Wouldn't that be perfect crazy? Timing, since Harmony's going to die in a couple of years,
There's people in the speaker space that want their own remote. Wait a minute. I've seen this somewhere before.
And it's going to look like a remote out there that's already out there.
Sonos is just going to buy Ava.
Yeah. Yeah. I wouldn't say they're coming with headphones. Sonos, every year they do this, it's like they build you up, and then you get the announcement. It's like, great, a new Sonos One speaker.
Yeah.
Yay. You know, and it's like we get so excited and then we get let down. It was kind of like, Matter, right? So, I mean, we get so excited. So I'm not going to put my money, I'm going to set the bar really low so that if they go exceed it, then I'll be happy.
It's going to be something silly like a smaller subwoofer.
Something like that.
Like, well, actually, it took us forever to release the smallest subwoofer, but we're going to come out with a small one that you could pair with like your Ray. I think that's our new product.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if we were going to put money on this, TJ, do you think there's headphones?
Do I think there's headphones?
In 2024?
I'll bet $1. Why not?
TJ's in for $1 for yes! Gavin.
I'll take that bet for no.
Gavin is no! And I'm going to say no, too. I'm not going for that one, so sorry.
What do you think? What do you think it could be, Seth?
I think it's going to be another speaker. That I think where Sonos really needs to work in is to do a little bit better job in like the surround space. They're still pushing 5.1 and everybody's moved on from that. And then they've come out with the Aqara 300s that aim up the thing at the same. It's not the same. It's not the same.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, we've moved on from 5.1?
Yeah. I mean,
I'm still at 4.0.
I just listened to this. We're going to get to this later, but I just listened to this podcast that a friend of the show has produced, and that people have moved on from 9 point whatever. Like they're beyond that now. So we're talking about Owen's podcast here in a minute. So
yeah, I think that's what some of these Sonos people have been or fans have been asking for, though, is a way to add more speakers to like a regular setup. Traditionally with Sonos, you have the sound bar and then you have 2 surrounds and maybe 2 subwoofers. But I could see them like expanding that because that'd be an easy way for people to buy more speakers, right? Like if you had the sound bar for like your center and then you had separate left and right, I mean, that gives people another reason to buy 2 additional speakers.
If you want to add more speakers, more speakers, look at last week's pick of the week. Didn't they have all the speakers on that one?
The garage door opener?
Oh, we were talking about the guy with all the speakers.
Oh yeah, with the in his room, and it was like an
18-year-old or 18-year-old kid that put a bunch of speakers into.
Yeah, found all the speakers on the side of the road.
So if you want more speakers, there's a guy that did it.
Yeah, but you can't do that with Sonos.
Oh, we'll find a way.
Yeah, well, I guess you might be able to with that Sonos sequencer, though. I don't know.
And the speakers that that they're talking, I don't know how to pronounce this company, Mate, I guess. I guess they had some very small transducers that would sound good. So they were producing some solar powered speakers or something like that, and they had redesigned and made some really efficient drivers or something that are small. So that's what Sonos has picked up, and I could see them kind of introducing that. And I mean, they haven't done anything with that technology, so it'll be interesting. I don't know. I don't see headphones happening. I'm sorry.
Hear me out. I got a new bet. It's going to be furniture. They're going to come out with their own Lovesac.
TJ, you're giving away the pick of the week. I mean, that would make some money. So. For all the right reasons.
It's the Sonos side table with built-in subwoofer.
Exactly. All right, we've got a kind of a leak here coming out from the FCC. The FCC Habitat has submitted a pro model of their hub. It's come through here. So, Gavin, I think you may have put this in.
Yeah, I saw this on X. Yeah. Jimmy leaked this for me. So, the Habitat C8 Pro has been spotted on the FCC. I really don't know what's pro about it. Like, I don't know any details. I'm thinking maybe a faster CPU, maybe some more internal memory, because I don't know what other antennas you can have unless they add in an actual thread antenna. I don't know if the C8 has a thread antenna for direct matter over thread support. So I'm sure details will come out, but something's coming.
Hopefully they at least add some RGBs to it. That'll make it professional.
It's got one RGB. It goes blue, green, and off.
Yeah, but I need it to be like my Govee space heater where it just has a giant ring at the bottom.
Because why not?
Yeah. I mean, that's professional. Every professional product I know lights up.
Mm. You get that in your computers now, too. It's kind of nice.
That's right. Not my Mac Mini, though. It's not professional.
No. It's a pro. That's a pro thing. have to have a Pro.
Yeah.
But when they say Pro, it makes me think that they're looking to go into another space at some point. So I'm curious to see what it is that's going to make this Pro instead of just the C9, for example.
Maybe it's PoE powered. I don't know. It's weird.
Rack
PoE
mountable.
power would be nice.
I should be able to like look through these FCC applications. And no, it's definitely not rack mountable in that form factor. I can tell you that right now. That's not going to happen.
It's got the Pro add-on faceplate to make it rack mountable.
The external photos have not been published yet, so
we'll find out. But it's good to see them, whatever it is, it's good to see them like coming along with something new. And it looks like, they're moving along just fine.
All right. Well, speaking of things not moving along just fine, I think we've heard about this before, but researchers have discovered a new vulnerability in voice-activated IoT devices that allow for silent cyber attacks.
Alexa.
Inaudible voice commands transmitted at frequencies between 16 and 22 kilohertz. So they're way up there. Your dog can hear this, but you can't. It can be used to issue malicious commands to devices such as the Amazon Alexa, Google Nest Mini, and the Apple HomePod. These frequencies typically range beyond the hearing range of most humans, so it makes these attacks a little difficult to actually detect that they're happening. So there was actually a CV issued on this. It's got like a rating of 7.8, which is kind of high, but I don't know. Given that somebody's already basically in your house and whispering into your whispering with some kind of device, because you wouldn't be able to use. Nobody can talk this high. Like this would have to be something that you played back on a phone or whatever. I guess you could get hacked that way or have something happen. I'm not sure.
Or maybe they could have a tool that transmits something through, and it goes through walls or something, like if you can't hear it.
Not that high. At that high, it's going to get blocked by glass and walls. A couple years back, the one that they had was like a laser. They could shoot a laser towards the microphone or at the microphone or whatever, and it would vibrate the microphone, the little piezo thing inside the microphone. And I thought that was clever. That was very clever. But this one is going to have to be inside the house. And they talk about it unlocking doors and tampering with temperatures and appliances and that kind of thing. I guess you could do that. But like once they're already in the house, couldn't they just like, instead of doing this weird thing, couldn't they just go turn the thermostat down the wrong way, or unlock the door once they're already in the house?
The only thing I could think of is maybe like controlling it with other people's phones. Like maybe if you're in like a public space or something like that, maybe you could use this to like talk to people's phones and have them do it.
Interesting.
But that obviously isn't tested.
Can you imagine trying to hack this thing and have to deal with all the by the ways? That would just slow down the efforts. By the time you get through all that, you're getting hacked.
Yeah, I don't know. This seems like a big. It's interesting, but I don't think it's that. When somebody already is in your house, I don't think they're going to be talking to Alexa if they are nefarious intent. Like they're going to be doing something else. So, well, anyway, here's something you can use to watch them and watch what they're doing. Aqara has come out with a 2K indoor security camera called the E1. Beautiful model name. It's got pan tilt zoom, HomeKit secure video, indoor camera. It's got two-way audio, night vision, person tracking, Wi-Fi 6, and it supports HomeKit, Alexa, and if that. Gavin, I think you put this on here. You had a bunch of other cool features you were telling me about before we started the show. Why would you get this?
Well, if you're interested in something like this, I personally am not, but if you are, the price is good, $59.99.
Yeah.
So that's a great price. It has local storage and cloud storage, Wi-Fi 6 you mentioned, Bluetooth is used, I believe, for setup. But it also has on-device motion, person, and sound detection. So that means that's local, all done locally. The sound's coming later. 2K resolution, privacy mode. It's a pan tilt, and it works with the different ecosystems. One of the key things that I know a lot of people would be happy about is it actually works with HomeKit secure video. So if you work with that, then this is a device for you. I kind of like the privacy mode because when you put it in privacy mode, the camera actually turns around. It's like it's looking away from you, and
that is so funny.
Yeah, it's kind of funny.
What if it's just embarrassed for you?
Yeah, it's like I'm changing, go in privacy mode, and they all turn away from you.
It's okay. I didn't want to see this anyway.
Yeah, so it's kind of cool, but like for the price, and again, Aqara is killing it with their devices.
Yeah, I could see me actually moving to this. We, as talked about previously, moving away from Unify cameras. And right now I have like 3 or 4 interior cameras for whenever we're traveling and everything. But I want to get those off of Unify into something else. And so this is appealing to me because they're only $60. You get the PTZ option, but all the storage options with it as well. And so I could tie it in with Blue Iris or something else.
No, you probably won't be.
No Blue Iris.
For Blue Iris, you'll need an RTSP stream or RTMP. I can never remember which one, but I don't think I was trying to find out if this had one, and I highly doubt it does. It doesn't look like it does.
All right. Well, the interior cameras aren't that important anyway, so at least they'll work with HomeKit.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta have one of those creepy cameras that watch you. They stare at you like this. They're smoking a cigarette. And it's like, yeah, go on. It's like, stop it, Unify. I'm trying to change.
And instead of router hats, do you think we can come out with camera hats so we can put a little sombrero on this guy?
It would be adorable.
You have like all these. You have like 4 of these interior cameras. Each one of them have a different hat. One of them's sombrero.
Like a fez.
One of them's fez would be a good option. Santa hat for the holidays.
Ooh, yeah.
A little Thanksgiving action. A little turkey or something. I don't know. Pilgrim hat.
Another domain I'm going to have to buy and mock up before we do the show. All right. Interesting product. $59, not a bad deal. If you're interested and you need a little PTZ camera, maybe I want to go with. This story right here just gets me. We haven't even gotten to our Matter segment yet, but this is fun. Tech giants Apple, Google, Samsung, along with lock and chip makers such as Allegion, Asa Abloy, Qualcomm, and NXP. It's pretty much everybody. I mean, have come together to create Aliro, an open standard for smart locks and digital keys. The new standard aims to establish a global communication protocol and common credential system that will allow any authorized smartphone or smartwatch to open any smart lock, regardless of the manufacturer. It's being developed by over 200 companies and expected to launch its first specification in early 2025. This pretty much, the goal is to create a digital key that can be stored and accessed on your phone's digital wallet or smartwatch, similar to Apple's Home Key. The owner of the lock will have control over the key, allowing for secure sharing and management, all that good stuff. Just what we need. Another standard. This one, all around locks and everything. So I guess it makes sense to kind of like maybe break it out. But I thought this was what Matter was supposed to do. Eventually, I guess not fast enough.
I think this is more than just Matter, though. This is like, it's all the big players getting together and saying, listen, if we're going to make locks, these are the rules we're going to follow so that they can easily be integrated into things like Matter or all the other ecosystems. But they also talk to each other and they do whatever they have to do, right?
Right.
It kind of reminds me of the appliance one. Was it CSA, something like that? Or when Samsung went with LG and they created like an open standard for the appliances to be able to talk to each other too. That was last year or so. So it's kind of similar to that too. But I like this because 1, it's an open standard, right? 2, it has all the big players. Like the names you named are pretty much all the main guys in there. And once you have once you have the big players on board, then, like every lock you'll get will eventually, it's going to take time. We probably won't see the standard for a while or start to roll out for a while, but it's good to see. I think they could do this with other products, like before the show, make remotes a standard. Everyone that makes a remote talks a certain way, right?
That's a useless thing.
It's not going to happen.
You know what? Listen, I still like remotes, okay?
Nobody cares about remotes, Gavin.
I need more than 4 buttons on my remote too. And I don't want, it doesn't have to be all touchscreen. I want physical buttons. You could take away the number buttons. We're sidestepping here. Hold on. We're sidestepping. Let's get back on track. Yes, I like this idea, and it's an open standard. So, that's good to see.
It is interesting that the one giant company involved with locks is not part of this, as far as I can tell, which is Kwikset, their parent company, Spectrum Brands. So Kwikset's always kind of done their own little thing, but it's interesting just to see them not on this.
Yeah, I can see why you got confused about it being the CSA. Samsung and LG, when they put their thing together, I think it was in it was last year sometime, like you said. Yeah, it was called the Home Connectivity Alliance, or the HCA. which they actually, we missed this, but they had a standard 1.0 was released at CES 2023. So they're moving pretty quick, faster than Matter. Anyway, this is interesting. We'll have to keep an eye on it. I guess it makes sense if they were just like, this is how a smart lock works. You have all of these methods of input and everything. And if you standardize on the credential sharing, then you can put a key in your Apple Wallet or your Google Wallet or whatever the analog is for the rest of the technology vendors. I really do like walking up and hitting my watch on the block, and it just goes bing and it opens up. It's really cool. So more of that, please. Make it happen. All right, let's move on and talk about locks that do matter this week, though. Australian smart lock maker Nuki has launched its Matter over Thread smart lock, and it's designed for European-style doors. The lock comes in the standard version for about $180 and the pro version for $300 with higher quality materials and built-in Wi-Fi. Additional Thread support brings in a longer battery life, increased reliability, and faster speed. It is the world's first smart lock to fully integrate with Matter into the product. Yay, Nuki, you matter.
Yay.
You matter, guys. I've never heard of this company.
No, and I'm not a fan of the look of the Nuki.
I've heard of them, but I don't have any experience with them. I think they're mainly a Europe thing. And I know they have some stuff in the States as far as I know, but
it's an interesting looking lock. It says batteries should last up to 6 months, and it's 30% longer than the previous model. So nice.
Yeah, see, that's not very long. I would be annoyed if I had to change my lock batteries that often.
Nuki.
It says the Pro Lock can connect to any Apple Home or Google Home Matter, but the standard lock requires a $42 upgrade charge to enable Thread support. There's always an upcharge somewhere. It's like the BMW model where they're like, oh yeah, you want CarPlay? You're going to pay us for that one.
Wasn't there a Limp Bizkit song about this company?
I think there is, in fact. Something about a cookie. All right. Sonos has mattered as well. They have their first Matter device. It is, I think, posted on Twitter. This is, I want to say we talked about this or we mentioned it before, but this is like one of those little devices that you can hide away inside of like an electrical box.
It's a relay.
Well, like you can hide it behind a switch or use it as a relay or anything, but it's kind of cool. It's a little tiny thing. Hook the wires up. There's a video here. I'm watching this guy do work. He's hooking up the light switch now. It's going to happen. He puts it back together, flips the switch, boom, light comes on. That's how it should work.
Magic.
Yeah.
The other thing is I wish they, instead of doing these screw terminals, they would just come out with the clamp terminals, like the Wagos or lever terminals, whatever you want to call them. Just get rid of these screw terminals, please.
They're awful.
They're always awful.
Yeah.
And it's like, even if you have the appropriate size wire and stuff like that, like you have to put it in there a couple times and pull on it. Just do the lever connectors, please.
Agreed. Well, there's another company that might matter. Third Reality MZ1 Smart Bridge, I guess. They have announced is going to be Matter compatible as well. So congratulations. You've got Matter integration coming to your Third Reality devices, Zigbee, or are they Zigbee devices? Yeah, Zigbee devices. So yeah, it's basically a bridge, like Gavin, what you're talking about. It's bridging things over.
Another bridge
on Matter. Yep.
This company is pretty cool though. I've used several of their products and they all work great.
I know, and Jimmy really liked their blinds. Like, I was actually looking at their blinds. I'm thinking of maybe grabbing a set.
I can't find. Are they just available on Amazon? Is that it?
Yep. The batteries kind of go in the bottom of the blind, and they look like they're cellular shades. So it's pretty cool.
I was looking for their website. I can't find their website.
Yeah, it took me a while to find these things, but they're there.
They're not. Do they have a website? It's just Amazon links everywhere.
Yeah, for Third Reality. Yeah, I've only ever found them on Amazon. They're the ones I use for the smart switches at the apartment. I think it's just rebranded, but they have a smart switch that just goes over your existing light switch and it has just a button. So you can control it with your automation system. It's Zigbee, so you can do all local, which is nice. And I think they're only like $20 a piece, so very affordable. I have a bunch of them somewhere that I took out of the apartment.
Their website is 3 reality.com.
Oh, and I really like their, I forgot about their water leak sensors. I have their water leak sensors everywhere, and I like them because they still have a built-in siren as well. And so even if like for some reason you don't get the notification through your automation platform, you would be able to hear the siren going off. And they're Zigbee. So I think like 4 of them was like $40 or something. They were very cheap.
Nice.
And you remember the Amazon Flex, I think it was? It was a little Echo Flex. They make add-ons for it underneath. So they're actually authorized.
Yeah, I saw that.
Pretty cool. I'll have to give this company another look and just see what's new. And they have a remote. Hey, look. Since we're talking about remotes, they have a remote.
Where do you see that at?
Smart home accessories.
Oh yeah, for Amazon Fire. That's buttons.
Look, you can
gotta
plug
slide the thing
headphones into the remote as it has an audio jack, and it will redirect the sound from your
Genius.
TV. That's brilliant, right there. You know, your remote is the audio jack for your headphones, right there. There you go.
Just like Roku.
Yeah.
Just like Roku. Good job. Man, Roku's such a great company.
Yeah, they kind of are, except for their sleazy advertisement stuff. But you don't pay for it.
Yeah, we don't talk about that.
Yeah, we don't talk about that.
I like how Third Reality has a forum link, and there's one post in there from August 21st.
Let's go double their posts.
Oh man. All right. Well, all the links and topics we talked, I'm going to have a hell of a time editing this. All the links and topics we discussed tonight can be found over our show notes over at HomeTech.fm/460. All right. We got a pick of the week and we got a mailbag this week. But one of the things we have is a post that we got. I was tagged on. Gavin was tagged on, but TJ was not tagged on over on Mastodon because TJ bailed on us over there for some reason. But James Todd, friend of the show, I guess, says, neat. My first sighting of a TJ in the wilds of Worthington, Ohio. So he says, so much more exciting than tracking birds in your backyard. So James is over there tracking TJ, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I can't even tell what intersection this is. So it's pretty funny. I've ran into 2 people in the wild now that listen to the podcast.
Oh, to live near young people. What is that like? I'm just like in a hole. No one knows what I do. They were like, what's a podcast for years?
Well, you live near all old people.
I know. So. They have no idea. They're not going to listen to anything about technology. So
I'm a little upset that he didn't stop you and, say hi and, give you the celebrity feel, like we got a picture with you, that type of thing. Like, no.
Is it bad? The first thing I thought of was like, well, hopefully I didn't drive like a jack wagon like anywhere near him. You know what I mean?
you cut him off.
Maybe like honked at, he honked at me to like say hi, and I just like flipped him off or something.
He said he'll bring you some O. Henrys next time.
That's nice.
Oh, that'd be nice. Well, thanks, James. We do appreciate it. If you want to go over there and track TJ in the wild, you just go on over to HomeTech.social and sign up on our Mastodon instance.
We have a website that tracks his van everywhere it goes.
Yeah, where's TJ? Yeah,
it's just like the Elon Musk jet. Yeah, it's TJ's van.
That would be funny to set up.
Wait, you do have the tracker thing. Oh, this can totally happen.
Oh, I do actually. Well, yeah, especially through Home. I have it through Home Assistant and Drone Mobile.
Oh, so. There we go.
New domain you got to buy, Seth.
Yeah, so many things tracking me.
Where's TJ?
We could just hook it up. The Mastodon API is really easy. You can hook it up to just post all the time. Like I did that with our show. Like when we publish a new show, there's a thing that watches that and then posts it up. So there we go. We can make this happen, TJ.
Let's do it. As long as we block out my home address.
Yeah, little OPSEC issue there.
I don't need people showing up to my house. I like you guys, but there's a guy at the front door says he listens to the podcast. Okay.
Well, I'll tell you what. If anybody shows up, you got to have one of these things. So in our pick of the week here, get one of these Lovesacs, put it in your living room, and I can tell from the picture of this lady, she is happy with her purchase. This is a sectional sofa with stealth tech, and I guess they put speakers and subwoofers inside all the cushions around the sofa, and you watch what you want to watch. Looks like she's watching a Hallmark movie and on the TV in the background there, but really enjoying the movie. It looks really relaxing.
The subwoofers are in the seats. This is one of those products that will have a high wife approval factor, like very high, and she will be picking the movies from now on if you get one of these. Trust me.
Satisfaction guaranteed.
Yep.
That's what it says.
Yeah, I was actually surprised. The price. It doesn't seem too crazy. If you don't know anything about the Lovesac company, like all their stuff is ridiculously expensive. I think they got their start with like the giant beanbag chairs that were like $1,000, and so like you easily spent like over $5,000 for a couch. But I just like built a really nice one, and it was like $8,000, which is still a lot of money. But I feel like it's not that bad for like a full audio system built into it as well.
Well, if TJ gets one of these, and you can track him
come on over, I guess.
Come on over and sit on his Lovesac. There you go.
My God. I was gonna say it's gonna be hard to tell my friends that they should come over and try out my Lovesac, but
whoa! Don't touch my Lovesac. It's new.
Oh, you got a lot of pictures of the dogs here on the Lovesacs and everything. So yeah,
and the bigger the Lovesac, the better.
It's an interesting. I mean, I've seen these before, and I actually have the Sonos subwoofer shoved underneath our couch. So I really can't complain about this too much. It does work.
You can go crazy. You can get like a 12-seater with 10 speakers, and it's like $13,000. It's $5,000 off right now, Seth, in case you're looking to get some furniture before the family comes over for Thanksgiving next week.
I don't even think I could fit half this stuff in my house, actually. So it's not designed.
Could fit one of those giant bean bags in my house.
Yeah. These large oversized furniture things aren't designed for the old 1969 minimalist style homes of Florida. They don't fit quite well. We barely found a couch at IKEA that works in there. But what is nice is that I can fit the sofa, the subwoofer, the Sonos subwoofer on its side underneath.
It's basically the same thing. You just saved yourself like $8,000.
I did because it was like $150 for the IKEA couch. I don't know, it's more than that, but like, and then I got a Sonos sub. There you go.
Your couch just got a new name.
I'll tell my wife tonight.
Baby, I got us a Lovesac. Yeah.
This is never ending.
All right. If you have any feedback, questions, comments, picks of the week, or picks of your Lovesac, send them on over. The email address is feedback@HomeTech.fm. You can visit HomeTech.fm/feedback and fill out the online form.
No pics, please. No pics.
All right. Project updates. TJ, you seem like a busy person. What you up to?
I did a thing this week.
Yeah.
So previous discussions on the podcast, we talked about space heaters and smart space heaters, and I made the decision. I got the Govee space heater for like $100. It's been great. Turns on automatically with a schedule. It'll turn off automatically, which is literally the only feature I wanted out of a smart space heater. You can set the LED light colors on the base, which is whatever. They have another model that actually has a little like fire log that's burning, which I think is pretty hilarious. And I can't tell the difference. Like they have like several space heaters, but they all pretty much look the same spec wise. And so I'm not really sure why you would pick one over like the 12 other ones, but I'm here for it. But it's been working great. The problem is, though, just like Seth, I have an old house. My house was built in 1959, and a lot of the electric is wired together. So, like, pretty much all of the lights in the house are on one breaker. The outlets, minus whatever was added on after the fact, are also on a different breaker. And so the problem was that when the space heater was turning on, it uses like 12.5 amps normally. But obviously, when it turns on, it's going to use a little bit more power. And so it would jump up to like 15 amps. And on a 15 amp breaker, with just the space heater on, would kill it alone. But combine that with the TVs and the lights and everything else that are on as well. It was weird though, because it like worked for like an hour and then it would kick off. It just wasn't like an instant thing. You think like when it first turned on, like it's going to use the most power and it would kill everything at that point, but it never did. But it'd be like an hour or hour and a half later, it would kill the power and I had to flip the breaker. And then I, obviously wouldn't use it because I didn't want to burn my house down. So I decided that I would go ahead and just install a new dedicated line for the space heater. And I knew at some point I'm going to install a mini split for the den, which is where the space heater is. And so I went ahead and ran a dedicated line for that as well. But I ran a new, 12.2 Romex and a 20 amp breaker, literally just for my one space heater. And it was pretty easy because I was able to like fish the wall with the electrical wire. And so I only came out of the wall on the exterior of the house, like, I don't know, a couple of feet with conduit and everything. But I needed to do that anyway for the eventual mini split. So I was like, well, it doesn't really matter. I'll just go ahead and do it. And it's been working great. I have, plenty of power on that one breaker. And whenever we like actually finish the den, I'll just go ahead and rewire the whole den to that one breaker. And then that way it like removes, at least that's separated then. And then it gives me more flexibility with the rest of the house. Because it would be nice to rewire the whole house, but it's not really necessary. So I'm trying to avoid that if I don't have to.
Yeah, it's always nice. You don't have to rewire your entire house. Yeah.
Yeah, well, and I was kind of stupid because I should have did that before we put a bunch of insulation. Now we have like 18 inches of insulation in the attic, and I do not want to go up there. So
I'm not going to say we told you so, but...
Yeah, well, it is what it is. So...
Hey, you probably can find a guy who will come over and do it for like $30. So.
Oh, 100%. 100%. But, it's like one of those things. It's like the outlets work and stuff. They just don't have grounds. It's like, it's not really necessary. Mm-hmm. It'd be nice, but... It's not a concern of mine. But that's pretty much it for projects right now. I don't have anything going on. We're getting ready for Thanksgiving's next week. So I've got a bunch of projects in the pipeline, and we're going to Chicago Thanksgiving weekend. We're going to go see Adam over there in Chicago, outside of Chicago, I guess. And then the week after, the wife and I are heading to Florida. So
I'm sorry.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I was just there last month.
What'd you do?
Well, it's the sister-in-law had a baby, so we got to go see the baby.
They couldn't bring the baby to you.
Technically,
you have to actually go there.
Technically, I'm the godparent, so I have to go see it.
You're obligated at that point.
Yeah, like legally or something. I don't know. So I'll be closer to Seth. I'm not gonna go see Seth. I think you're still like 3 hours away from me, but
yeah, we'll
look up at the same star, Seth, and we'll know each other's there.
I mean, it's a hard week to do any travel. It's the kids off all week, and yeah, it's going to be fun. I'm going to get some projects done that week for sure. So,
ooh, I'm excited to hear about it.
Or at least started. I don't know about the done part.
Yeah. It's got to be done.
Yeah, nobody cares about that.
I do have I'm not starting a new project, but I kind of started a new project. So I got the little things in finally, like these little guys, either
little ESP homes,
ESP32 Steve rooms or whatever they are.
Yep.
They are the development boards basically for ESP32s. And they come with a nice little LED module thing that I got. Found this company called Quinn LED. I think it's QUINLED.info is the website. Really cool product. These guys have put together a decent breakout board, essentially. Like all the pins from here on the little ESP32 development thing end up being plugged into this, like a little hat thing. Just sits on top. And you can wire, what's really nice about this little device, this is the quad version. You can wire in anything from 5 volts to 24 volts into this, and it supports it all. Like you don't have to worry about the voltages or anything. It'll power up the ESP, which is 5 volts, and then it'll keep it going. But it'll also, if you have a 24 volt LED strips attached, they will power up off this as well. It's got fuses on it. It's got all sorts of fun stuff on here. I think there's like a little sensor on here too somewhere where you can attach. It's still got the breakouts on it, so you can attach sensors on it. They just did a really fun like DIY board here, and I'm just tinkering around with it. It comes with preloaded. It has, what is it called? WLED, which is like a little LED software that supports all sorts of types of lights. So I can hook up analog lights if I wanted. So like the PWM pulse width modulation lights, LED strips, the normal strips that you would buy anywhere. And I can do pixels, which is kind of what I've started on because I have a bunch of pixels from last year that I was testing stuff with. And so like I've got this hooked up with like some testing pixels, and I've been like they're changing colors. Yeah. So
nice. You're going to make your own Govee outdoor lights. Permanent outdoor lights.
Pretty much. Well, I mean, that's what like I'm trying to get to. But I've still got to find a couple of things. Most notably, I've got to get the install figured out. I need some tracks. I've been looking around for some kind of like aluminum track that I can hide these ugly LED lights in so no one will see them. And then I can put this up and just leave it up year round. And these little things do not cost very much. I think they were all of $25 a piece for each board and the ESP thing. So like total win on the price. And if I blow one up, I'm not going to cry about it. It's not a few $100 professional controller or whatever. So yeah, great. Good stuff. I'm happy so far. I only have like 8 lights connected to it, but we'll see what it does when you have 150. Supposedly it can do a decent job. I'm going to try and get it hooked up. This thing, WLED supports a bunch of protocols. So I can run DMX through it. I can run all sorts of control protocols, or it can just run like standalone like it is now, where I've got it just kind of like cycling through colors. They have their own little features on it. I do not like the interface to WLED. Like it's pretty awful, but I guess it's some passion project for somebody and they like it well enough, and that's good. But there's the way that you do sequences and everything I'm not a fan of, and it's way overcomplicated for what it is. So as most open source projects are. So but it does support a ton of stuff. So really, really cool product that they put together or project that they put together in a product kind of hanging off the side here. There's you can actually go to Alibaba and order this similar things to this already like in an enclosure and everything that with WLID installed. And all you have to do to upgrade it is, this is cool. The ESPs have this thing on Google Chrome now, like you just plug it in and it connects over USB via like serial and will update over the USB through your web browser. Connected does this with their products. I've seen everybody that's using the ESP stuff start to do those little firmware updates with that. So getting it updated online was no problem at all. They have a little menu that walks you through just the basics. And then once you get into the web interface, you can go to town. So fun project. And I will definitely be continuing this. I really need to find some channels, some of the aluminum channels and lights to go into them, because the lights I have may not work, but I will get new lights if I need to. I don't want to take these down. That's my goal. It's not to take the Christmas lights down. Just leave them up year round and change them for the holidays. That's what I want to do.
That's actually really cool. I have a whole bunch of those ESP32s sitting around. I've been playing with ESP Home and stuff like that, and it's really cool what it can do, because it takes the coding out of it.
Yeah.
So the ESP Home, it's pretty much just YAML based now, right? And you can configure it and create entities and control your devices. And yeah, this looks actually really cool. Maybe I'm going to take a look at it later.
Well, the thing is, like, since it's just the ESP chip, I can plug this in and flash ESP Home to it. And all the pins are on, like they document what pins go where. So I can basically run ESP Home on it. There was another project called, I started with a T. I can't remember the name of it. I ran across it earlier that it was just like, you basically could load it on here. You can control the lights, but you could also use the other pins, and they have a support for a bunch of sensors. And
is it Tasmata? Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's more likely that one.
Yes, Tasmata. Yeah. Tomato. Yeah, that's the one. It's got a ton. It runs off ESP32. These little boards. It runs just about on every one of them. But since they have so much support for all these connected peripherals, like analog inputs, temperature sensors, ultrasonic detectors, moisture sensors, you can use the extra pins on this little device with the additional power supply outputs to hook up all this other stuff and make it work. Totally a DIY, totally a nerdy thing to do, but I'm kind of deep into the Pixel stuff these days and just having fun with it. So this should be up and going next week. So for sure, I will have everything up and going. I'm complicating things, but I still have to take the lights I have down at some point because my wife gets tired of looking at them. So I've got to make that an easier process. Right now, it's not so much fun. There's a lot of zip ties involved.
Are we placing bets on this? Like, when will you have this done?
No, it's going to happen. It'll happen next week. Like, my daughter's home all week, so I've got nothing to do except keep up with her, and she can help me zip tie things.
So are we placing bets that he'll actually get it done?
$1 he'll get it done.
I'll get it done. All right. I'm going to write it on her. I'm going to write it on the board. You guys are going to owe me $1. I'm going to get it done.
Well, wait, I don't owe you anything. I'm betting for you.
Oh, okay. Thank you, TJ.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Gavin, what you up to?
Nothing.
Seth deleted them again.
Yeah, apparently nothing. It's been a quiet week for me. The one thing I did do is I tried once again to get the Home Assistant ESP32 voice assistant working. I followed YouTube videos. I have the exact parts, everything hooked up. I just can't get it working. It looks like, everything's working, but somewhere it's broken along the chain. And it's one of those projects where, I just unplugged everything, deleted all the add-ons and everything. I said, you know what? I'll look at this next month. Sometimes you just got to take a step back and wait for the next Home Assistant update, and maybe they fixed whatever is not working, in there.
I do that all the time. So.
I'll deal with that next month, but I have everything assembled sitting next to me. I've watched so many videos, but it was a great learning experience for ESP Home, and I've been playing more with ESP Home. So yeah, that was this week's frustration. And, we were talking before the show. I'm on the search for a new home server. I just want something a little beefier. So, if I hear back, I contacted somebody and I'm just waiting to hear back. If it's still available, then I may have a little beefier server with all the memory and all the cores to run all the Blue Irises and all the Home Assistants. And, I can't wait. Hopefully it's still there.
You're going to be running the whole neighborhood's technology.
Yeah, probably. And I'm also contacted my another ISP that was offering me faster upload speeds. So I'm like, oh, you're going to give me gigabit upload? Now TJ won't be the fastest one to upload the show recordings anymore. So I'm going to let them know, hey, if your deal's still available, I'm interested in switching over to the fiber package. And so I can get all the uploads, because with this new server, I'm going to need all the upload.
Yes. Yeah. We definitely could use that for, hosting a little bit of that Mastodon server, maybe you can Canadian CDN up there. Yeah.
See, over here, we pretty much, we just have Rogers and Bell in our area, and they're competing back and forth, and they're two major players. But everyone I talked to at Bell has been happy with their fiber service. Like, they have no complaints. There's no outages, no speed issues, nothing. Where with Rogers, they may give us 1.5 gig down, but we get 60 megabits up, right? And then even of that 1.5 down, you're only getting, like, every time I test, when I first got it, I was getting 1.7. I was like all happy and everything. But now when I do speed tests, I'm getting like 300 or something like that. And it's just like, what am I paying for? Where everyone else with Bell is, like, oh, I still got my 1.5 gig down. So I'm like, all right, time to jump over. I need all the upload because I'm going to have all the memory, all the cores, I just want it all. So I'm just going to be doing some home lab upgrades.
Fiber without the symmetrical upload seems kind of weird. Seems like it should be a necessity.
Well, Rogers isn't fiber. It's still
it's a cable.
Yeah, it's just a cable modem, right? So that's why. So they're kind of limited, I think, for their upload, but they need to pick up the pace.
Yeah, Spectrum contacts me like 3 times a week via mailers and like phone calls and everything to try to get me to come back. They're like, hey, what can we do to get you back? And I'm like, give me better internet.
Sorry, we can't do that.
It's the only way I would come back. Yeah, see, it's like, oh, we're still using our cable lines. And especially when you see like Comcast and stuff, it's like, hey, we can push 5 gig over coax. It's like, all right, just replace it with fiber, though.
Well, I can't lie. One of my main driving behind upgrading, changing my internet was I got to notice that the deal I'm on right now, which is an excellent price, expires in February. So I'm like, oh, after February, it's going to be more than twice the amount, right? Whereas Bell is offering me pretty much the same deal, but it will never expire. So I'm like, all right, let me just switch over. And now I think it was like $56 plus tax or something like that, Canadian. So it's too, you can't pass it up.
No. Yay, Gavin's going to get fast internet.
Well, I have fast. I'm going to get faster internet.
Yeah.
Fast upload internet.
Is your modem upgraded? Oh, you got the Unify thing? Are you using Unify?
Yeah, I have the Dream Machine. What was it? The Dream Machine SE, the rack mounted one, right?
Yeah, that'd be good enough.
So so it can handle the 1.5 gig. I think it can handle up to 2.5 down, right? So
yeah, I think that one can.
Yeah, so that's the main reason I got that one, is because I wanted to handle the faster speeds.
You were already prepared for the future, is what you're saying. You're ready to go.
Always thinking ahead. Always thinking ahead.
Well, I decided to hit update on this Home Assistant upgrade, and I don't think it's working. It was going from 11.0 to 11.2, so we'll see if refresh on the page will get.
I'll just give it time. It's just doing some thinking.
Oh, yeah, I guess it is doing some thinking because it's still doing it. So, oh well. I'll let that crank. Maybe it'll be done by next week, and I'll be able to look at my graphs. Oh, no. Connection lost. There we go. It's up there.
Broke it.
It's doing a great job assisting my home. Boom. Updated.
Just like that, live on the podcast.
Oh, guys, breaking news. Found another device. It found my printer again.
Oh.
Found it. Well, that's going to wrap up this week. We do want to give a big thank you to everyone who supports the show, but especially those who are able to financially support the show through our Patreon page. If you don't know about our Patreon page, head on over to HomeTech.fm/support to learn how you can support HomeTech for as little as $1 a month. Any pledge over $5 a month gets you a huge shout out here on the show, but every single pledge gets you an invite to our private Slack chat, The Hub, where you and other supporters of the show can get in there every day and talk about all sorts of stuff that I haven't been able to pay attention to. I'm sorry. I've had my head down. Like, I have a training thing to do tomorrow. Is it tomorrow? Yeah, tomorrow. I'm trying to get some code done, and I just keep getting distracted on the code, and I can't look at the Slack thing. So I don't even know what's going on. You guys are telling me all this cool stuff that's going on. Like, the Lovesacs.
Yeah, you're missing out. You're missing out.
I miss the Lovesacs.
Yeah.
I can't believe it. But I'll get back in there one of these days. Oh, we do have to talk about Owen's podcast, the Home Cinema Design podcast. It is really good. I listened to the last one with Chernoff. He posted with and linked me on it, and he said you have to listen to this one because it's got a wall of subwoofers and picture a wall of subwoofers and then another wall of subwoofers that absorbs the sound from the first wall of subwoofers, and that's what they're doing over at Chernoff, which is a really kind of cool idea and not done before, I don't think. So, really interesting to listen to Owen talk about all the fundamentals of audio in small room for small room acoustic design, which is very, very hard to do, which we ran into a little bit with Adam's Theater. So if you listened to any of that and thought it was interesting, we'll put a link to his podcast in the show notes. This is definitely one you want to listen to. So
some of the stuff's over my head, but it's really good. I listen to it anyway, and I quote this podcast just to sound smart. Right? So,
yeah, if you want to sound smart, listen to this podcast.
Yeah, exactly. And then if I want to sound smarter, I throw a little English accent on with my quote, and then people believe whatever I say.
Now, this is good because there's a lot of mystery around like what makes a good home theater and everything, and there's always people on forums talking about like the proper things and all that good stuff. But this is what Owen does for a living, so he knows what he's talking about, and he's ran into a lot of different scenarios. So
yep, go check it out. We'll put a link in the show notes for you as well. If you want to help with the show but can't support financially, totally understand. Just appreciate a 5-star review on iTunes or a positive rating in the podcast app of your choice. That's going to wrap up another week here on Home Tech. Everybody have a great weekend, and we will see you next week.
Take care.
Till next time.